What is up, guys? Happy 2021. I bet you are as happy as me to put 2020 in your rear view. If you remember, before the holidays, we were touching on our 5-part gym audit. And we started with part 1, the client journey. Now we're going to take a look at part 2, operations. So when we look at auditing our operations, we're going to take a look at everything that ties to actually delivering our service. However, we're going to start well before anybody walks into the gym, because at that point, all the systems that you have, all the processes that you have in place are already in action. And if something is going wrong, chances are it's not your coach's fault, it's your fault because you didn't tell them how you wanted it done. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at is our staff playbook. This thing is worth its weight in gold. Real talk, guys, I hate detail-oriented work. That is not my passion. I am a vision guy. So doing this staff playbook was, I'd rather drag my nails across a chalkboard. However, when I finally sat down and forced myself to get this thing done, it changed my business almost overnight. So I want you to go ahead and open up your playbook, and let's start with the big picture stuff. Let's look at mission, vision, values, strategic advantages, all the stuff that you need to convey to your team so they know your intent. They know your vision, what you're trying to build. If you don't convey that to them, you're going to end up a year down the line, 2 years down the line, wondering how the heck you got this business that you don't want. After we take a look at big picture stuff, let's go ahead and check out standard operating procedures. So do you have written down everything from how to open the gym in the morning to how to clean the bathroom to how to coach a class? We need to make sure that all of those are in there so that each coach can deliver them the same way. Your members crave consistency. So let's just give it to them. Then let's go in and make sure we know how to deliver the perfect class, the perfect personal training session, the perfect nutrition coaching. So everything that is client facing, I need you to make sure that it is standardized and operating exactly like you would like it. Beyond that, let's make sure that everything is up to date with staff contact information, and you've got incident reports in there and all the nuts and bolts, all the small things that we don't want to wait for something to go wrong in order to build it. We need all of this stuff written down ahead of time. So the main job of the staff playbook is to show your staff exactly what they should be doing. It is your job to make sure that they are crystal clear. And if they do something that you don't like without you going in and telling them how to do it, that's not on them, that's on you. So take a look at that staff playbook and let's make some adjustments as we need it. Next up, let's take a look at our organizational structure, also known as roles and tasks. So when we do this, we need to figure out where we are now and where we're headed 3, 5, 10 years from now. So take a look around your gym and start thinking about every single role that you have. Do you have a front desk person? Do you have coaches? Do you have a nutrition coach? Do you have a client success manager? And we're going to write down every single one of those roles. And if there's not an actual person in that role, let's say you're wearing, the 20 different hats that you wear, but eventually you want to hire somebody to fill one of those tasks or to fill one of those roles. Let's go ahead and write that down and all the tasks that are associated with it. So we're going to end up with this list. In my business, it's about, I think it's 27 or 28 different roles. Everything from a social media person to a coach to a chief operating officer and everything in between. Once we have those roles, then you're going to go in and write down the individual tasks that role is responsible for. And so if you've already written down roles, what we're going to do during our audit is just take a look and make sure that we don't need to switch those tasks between roles, right? As our business grows, changes, and adapts, sometimes person A was doing something and we realized it was better suited for person B. So now is the time to transition those tasks over. The other important thing to do with roles and tasks is to just make sure that you're looking at who is in what seat. So what staff member is doing what role, And are they happy there? Do we need to make adjustments? Do we need to shift those roles around at all? Revamp contracts? The most important thing you can do is keep your staff happy, because they're going to keep your members happy, and everyone is going to be around for a much longer time. I don't know about you guys, but I have about 937 different pieces of software that I need to zap, zip, connect together in a million different ways. I wish that wasn't the case, but unfortunately there is not an all-in-one solution out there for everything that we need in the gym industry. So one thing that we're going to check out is making sure that the software that we have is still serving us and we're not paying any extraneous fees for something we're not using anymore, and that it is simple as is humanly possible. I know it's a big ask for members to have 14 different apps on their phone. So if there's any way that I can streamline anything, for example, if two providers that you use merge or create some sort of integration, is there a way that you can stand that up to make life easier for your members? This is also a really good thing to do for your budget. Those software fees can really add up pretty darn quickly. And again, we just need to make sure that we're using them. It's not bad that it's an expense, as long as it's generating more than that in value for your business. So just check out all that software, make sure it still makes sense, and optimize where you're able. Next on the agenda is the schedule audit. And this is a big one. I personally do this quarterly. I find that if I do it quarterly, members get used to the schedule changing every once in a while, and I get a lot less pushback if I need to cancel a class. Or add a class, I get a lot more members to it much more quickly because they aren't locked into certain times because we're constantly adding things. So what we want to look at for our schedule audit is we need to make sure that attendance justifies that class time. And if you haven't done the math to figure out what it costs you to run a class, including paying your coach and getting your overhead up, and then how many members you need in that class in order to pay that bill, you need to stop this video right now and go and do that. Once you know that number, now it's as simple as looking at the schedule, and it's a numbers game, right? If I do not have this number and I do not think it's going to get there, maybe that number is 6 or 7 members in a class, well, then we are just going to go ahead and cancel that class, right? There's no point in losing money because you're afraid of angering 1 or 2 of your members. The other thing we should look at with schedule is, again, take a look at your coaches' schedules. Can you get them any closer to living their perfect day? Does your morning coach hate waking up in the mornings? If so, they might be okay there for a short period of time, but it's not going to be long before you get that coach's 2 weeks. So let's go ahead and make adjustments to the schedule to ensure that your coaches are staying happy. Another thing to think about here, and this varies gym to gym, but some gyms prefer to move coaches around so that the client establishes the relationship with the brand, the gym, instead of the coach, which can alleviate some problems if a coach decides to head to another facility. So go ahead and check out your schedule and let's make any necessary adjustments to be able to maximize the usable space in your gym. How many square feet do you have? How many classes do you need? How many members do you need to hit your revenue numbers? Again, it all comes back. Start with what you want to make and reverse engineer all of those answers. Since we've been talking about staff, let's finish up our operations audit with 2 staff concerns. The first one is staff evaluations. So do you have a staff evaluation process set up? Step 1, if you do not, is let's get that thing going. You need to be doing staff evaluations at least quarterly. We've got a rubric that we put out ahead of time. The coaches are all well aware of it. Our head coach sits in once a quarter and gives them feedback on how that class went. And this isn't just coaching specific, right? It's also in line with our brand, and are they delivering announcements, and did they recognize bright spots or PRs in that class? We need to make sure that our coaches are delivering not just fitness, but our culture to our members every time they come in. So let's look at that evaluation process, schedule those things right out of the gate. After we do some staff evaluations, you can have that staff member in to sit down and make any course corrections, right? So evaluating your staff, adjusting, giving them homework, identifying any weaknesses so that they get up to par and deliver the service like you want them to. Another thing that we can do at these staff evals is our career roadmap. So again, evaluating whether your staff is on track to achieve their career goals. Are they making enough money? Are they working enough hours? Do they want more? Do they want less? You may think you know that stuff, but you would be amazed at what you find out if you just ask. And then the last piece of the puzzle here is reviewing our staff training process. So for us, we do it every 6 weeks. We take a 2-week block and we talk about a different idea. And this is more about the actual delivering coaching, right? Becoming better coaches. Be that level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 stuff from the CrossFit realm, or something from the Olympic weightlifting world, or maybe motivational interviewing, or how to coach nutrition. We need to make sure that we're taking a look at our staff training plan. It is your job as CEO to guide and lead the people on your team. So if you do not have something in place that pushes growth from your team members, that is on you. And if you're wondering why your business isn't growing, that's why. So let's take a second, audit what these processes look like, and adjust so that we can succeed moving forward. All right, guys, so that is our operations audit. Next week, we are gonna be back with our audit part 3. And now we get into the fun stuff of starting to get some new people in the door. All right, guys, see you soon.